Good morning, Flosstube. It is Monday, January 13th, 2020, and I am way overdue for an update, so I thought I would throw things together and visit with you this morning while I had the chance. Little one is not going to be happy that I filmed while she was at school because she has some updates and things to show. And I did get an awesome stitching present from her for Christmas, but I'm going to wait to show that to you until she's here. So anyway, lots of finishes to show you and some whips. My last two videos were special editions. So there was the Christmas projects one, and then there was my 2020 plans one, which honestly, I think even before I actually uploaded it, the plans changed a little, and they've since changed again, but that's okay. So, I'm going to show you my finishes first. I will start back in December. My last regular video was December 17th, and the weekend after that, so it was like the weekend before Christmas, we got to go spend it in Newport. So I get to work on my Newport project, and I took it out to start working on it and realized that I was farther along than I thought I was. And so I stitched like a mad woman, and I might have even delayed our departure that Monday morning so that I could finish it, but finish it I did. And so here it is. I didn't even take out the original so that you could see what it's supposed to look like. It's supposed to say Nantucket down below. And then I changed the saying as well. But Newport is all done. And I have the frame for that, so it's just a matter of stretching it, ironing it and stretching it and getting it framed up. Finish it February is coming, so hopefully that'll get done at that point. So then we got home and it was Christmas, and I didn't have a lot of stitching time, but I had some stitching time. And so I then worked on my version of Never Let You Go by Heartstring Samplery, and I finished it. This was a complete surprise. I was not planning on finishing this one. I love that basket right there. So again, I have a frame for this one. Just a matter of finding the time to stretch it and get it done. So then it was the last week of December, and I didn't want to start a new project, and I didn't really want to do any ornaments either because I was pretty Christmased out. So I decided to start a project I knew I could finish before the new year. Now, I had seen this project. I know Kathy Haberman has it hanging in her kitchen, and several other people have done it, and I've seen it in their videos. Not necessarily that they were stitching on because it's an older project, but hanging in the background. And I had always liked it. And I finally took the time to do some research and found that it was the perfect size to fit in that long, skinny frame that I framed. Oh shoot, what was the project? You know, that long, skinny Kathy Barrick one that I just did. It's not even over there, so I can grab it for you. Anyway, so the project that I had seen was Never Enough Time by The Good Housewife, and I figured I would never find it because it's a Good Housewife. Well, I went on eBay and somebody was selling it along with Potter's Hill, and I won the auction for not much money because you know how cheap I am. I might have even, I think I paid less than retail for both of them. And so I decided to start Never Enough Time. And because it's all letters, it's one color, it's like nothing, right? So I think this took me 3 days to stitch. I had started it, I think I started it Christmas night and decided if I did like 2 letters a day, I would have it done for the new year. And then I just started stitching and there we go. So again, another finish that just needs to be framed. So by now it's like December 28th or 29th, right? And I was feeling good because instead of bringing 5 projects into 2020, I was only bringing 3 projects into 2020. So I was like, oh, maybe I can do a brand new start on January 1st. So I went through my stash and I kitted up, where did I put it? Right here. I kitted up the Blue Flower Sleeping Bee, which a lot of you have seen. It's gorgeous. I have the perfect finish for it. I know exactly how I'm going to finish it. I don't have to make any alterations to the size. So, fantastic. So I kitted that up to start on January 1st. And then in the meantime, I said, well, I'm not going to start anything new. Let me go stitch some on the Heritage Sampler. And so I got that out and I started stitching and it was going so fast. Don't get excited, I did not finish it, but it was going fast. And so January 1st came along and I didn't want to put it down. So I decided to forego the New Year, New Start and just work on the Heritage Sampler. And I am not taking this out of the Q-snaps, but this is how far I got. The sides are done, the top is done. All I need to do now is add the flag. There's a flag in here. You can see where the pole goes. And then add the words to it. And I have the words all charted out. I know exactly what it's going to say. I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. But this really does not need to be done until September 1st. So I'm holding off on finishing it up because it's the military, right? Things can change. So I don't want to have dates stitched and then have to rip them out again. So this is going to be, it's not in Crafting Prison because it didn't do anything wrong. I'm just going to set it to the side and hold off until we absolutely know for certain, definitely. And then dates will go in here and it will be done. So I'm thrilled that I was able to get that far in that one. So then I got to that point. This was last week sometime, and I decided it was time to go back to Scenic Farm. I had put Scenic Farm down in December before Christmas, and it was time to pick it back up again because I had calculated at one point that if I did 1 page a month in January and February, that would leave me the month of March to do all of the back stitching, and the project would be done when winter was done, which is what I wanted. So I went back to Scenic Farm. I have finished this house right here, and this, can you see right up here? This is the end of the piece, so I don't have to move my Q-snaps again. So basically the second page that I wanted to finish by the end of January it breaks basically right here at the chimney. So you can see I'm into the 3rd page. This, all the sky is half stitches, so that's gonna go really, really fast. So what I've decided is I'm gonna spend a couple more days on this. There's a tree here that I want to stitch so that I don't have to count around it in the sky. And then I'm going to put it down on January 15th because I've already met and exceeded my goal. And so I'm going to put it down on January 15th and then start the Sleeping Bee. I am hoping that I can finish that in 2 weeks. I think it's doable. It's not a huge project. It's not solid stitching. I'm going to do my best to be done with that at least by the first week in February. And then I will come back to this one and get all the cross stitching done. And we'll see how long that takes me. And then it'll be time to go back and do the back stitching. I thought I was going to get, there's some bushes here that I could back stitch in, but I just didn't feel it, so I didn't. But this is coming along great. It's going to be certainly be done well in time for the fair, so I'm very excited about that. I'm not going to miss stitching with 3 and 4 strands of floss. All right, so that's my progress and what I have done since I last saw you. I have some newly acquired things to show you. I was watching Julie at Reflections the other day, and she was talking about her new website. And so I was like, oh, I wonder if Julie has Janet Reed. I have been looking for Janet Reed, which is an older Chessie and Me sampler. I saw it and it reminded me a lot of my Jessie sampler. It's got peacocks and the alphabet, and I thought it would make a good companion piece to it. So I started looking for it, and the only place that I could find it was the Country Sampler. However, they didn't have anything else that was really on my must-have list, and their shipping was more than I was willing to pay for one chart. So I didn't buy it. I had a search on eBay for it, never came up. So I went over to Julie's website, and sure enough, she had Janet Reed. So Janet Reed is going to get stitched, I think, in the same colors that I'm using for Jessie. And my plan for this is I am using the Jessie sampler to honor my paternal grandfather's father's side of the family. So I think on this one, I am going to honor my paternal grandfather's mother's side of the family. And I'm going to stitch it in the same colors. And as you can see, if you remember what Jessie looks like, it's got the peacocks in the basket and a whole lot of initials for personalization. So that's the plan for this one. I do not know when it's going to get stitched, but at some point it's going to get stitched. And then Julie showed one of the charts that I have been looking for, and I just haven't bought it yet. I knew I was going to at some point. Well, she showed Teresa Kogut's For You, except she showed it on a blue background, which I believe is the same color that this was punched in, because this was originally a punch needle chart, and it was absolutely stunning. And so I didn't want Janet Reed to travel alone. This one came to live with me, and I reached in my stash and I found this linen. All I know is the size of it. I don't know the count of it. I don't know what brand it is, but I am going to be doing this on the blue, and I think it's going to be stunning, just like Julie's version. And then, right, it's 2020, and we have been reminded by Brenda Gervais that this is really when stitching came to America. And so I knew I wanted to do something special because I have traced my line back to the Mayflower. I am a descendant of Edward Doty, who was not a pious pilgrim. He was an indentured servant, so he had no choice. He had to come. And Edward Doty is a colorful character. He appears in the court records numerous times over his years in Plymouth Colony. But he was never kicked out. He was never really even punished with all of those court cases. So my feeling is that there was something about him that was likable. He was allowed to sign the Mayflower Compact. So, yeah, I don't know the real story behind Edward Doty other than he was not coming here for religious reasons. But I wanted to do something to honor him. And he was not married when he came over. So his wife came over a couple years later. I forget the name of the ship that she was on. I should know that. But it was just him. So, Pam is doing a Women of the Mayflower sampler. And I actually had that issue of Fine Lines, but I'm not a descendant of any of the women of the Mayflower. So I decided that was not going to be the project that I was going to work on. And then I did some searching, and I found the Mayflower Rose Ornament. This was, it's designed by Ellen Chester, Heartsease Exemplar Works. It was originally part of a larger set that she must have done for a guild or a class or something. But it had scissor fob and, the whole 9 yards. Well, that's not me. But I really liked this. And so my plan is to, instead of the date down here, I am going to do 1620 to 2020. And this one is getting harder to find. Teresa Kitten Stitcher had it, and so that's where I nabbed it. If you are at all interested in stitching something to commemorate the Mayflower this year, I wouldn't dilly-dally because I'm not sure how readily available this pattern is going to be. Who knows? Maybe it'll come out. It'll be easy to find because everyone wants it, or I don't know. I don't know what the story is, but anyway. I decided not to wait. I'm not going to stitch this. It'll probably be early fall before I stitch this, which, that's when they got here was fall. So that might be a fall project for me after the crazy summer is gone. It's not that big of a piece. It's 71 by 61. So, it's basically full coverage, and it's going to be a lot of colors for such a small piece, but that'll be all right. It is charted for Classic Colorworks Silk and NPI. So I don't know. I'm wondering. See, here's the NPI in the no, what is it? Oh yeah, the name. But I'm wondering, where is it? If these numbers, I don't know if those are DMC numbers or not. I'm going to have to look it up. If not, then no, I think probably the name is the Silks or the Classic Colorworks, and then I think the number is the NPI. I don't think it's DMC. So that's going to take me a while. I'm going to have to, come up with some conversions based on the picture. But yeah, see right here, the companion is the Mayflower Rose sewing set. So if you're into that sort of thing, there's a whole big set of them. Now that couldn't travel alone. So I bought this one. I had been eyeing this year, but I knew I wouldn't have time to work on it. Yeah, I had a thing for squirrels this year, so I won't be finishing it like shown. I will probably be doing my own thing. I may even stitch this and this separately. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. All right, so that was my finishes, my whips, my plans. I will tell you that the Frugal Yankee retreat is happening. Those who went last year got first pick. A lot of the rooms have filled. At some point, I will be posting the link to the hotel rooms on the Frugal Yankee page, Facebook page. However, there's already way more members of that page than we can fit. So I will not be accepting new members to that page. So I know that's going to make a lot of you disappointed. I want you to know that I am working on a larger venue. I think I found a possibility so that we can have a larger gathering in New England. The demand is there for a retreat that just, is a place to sit and visit and stitch. Nothing fancy, no classes, very minimal cost. And so I'm working on it. And so I'm hoping that 2021 will be the year that we can have something of our own here in New England. It will not be anywhere near the size of StitchCon. In fact, the room that I'm looking at for this first one, I think we can fit 50 in. There's a larger one that we could fit 100 in, but I don't think that we can get the number of hotel rooms that they would like to see booked out of that. So I don't know. That's for the future. So I'm waiting until their 2021 schedule is released, and then the guy will get back to me and we shall chat. So I just wanted to throw that out there for you that I am working on it. I am hoping to have something so that whoever wants to come can come. I love the Frugal Yankee. It's a fantastic retreat, but the logistics aren't there. We can't fit a bunch of people. And for that one, we probably don't want to fit a bunch of people. We like the fact that it's a small retreat, but I would like to also do a larger one at some point. So I will certainly let you know more about that when I know more, but nothing is set in stone. I don't even have possible dates yet, but I wanted you to know that it's in the works. Now, with that being said, if somebody else wants to organize a retreat in New England, please have at it. This is not something that yay, I'm wicked gung-ho about. I'm doing it because I want to go to a larger retreat in New England. I don't want to have to fly or drive, and nobody else has stepped up to do it. So if you want to step up and plan a thing, I will be there. I promise. Anyway, all right. We're at 23 minutes, 24 minutes. I think that's all I have for you now. I hope to be back with some progress on Scenic Farm and some progress on Sleeping Bee and maybe some FFOs and an update from Little One, but who knows when that will be. Anyway, I wish you happy stitching, a winter to your liking, whether you want lots of snow or warmer than warmer temperatures. I hope you get what you want. We are due for 8 inches of snow on Saturday, which I'm kind of excited about. We just had 2 days of 60-degree weather, which was awesome. Don't get me wrong. It was awesome. I got a ton of yard work done. I planted up daffodils. I was out there in short sleeves. But I'm looking forward to hopefully this snowstorm on Saturday because hubby will be home and we can all be snowed in together. And it's been many, many years since that has happened. So, all right. I wish you fair winds and flowing seas. Bye, Flosstube.